teeth or whatever it is that they said that they needed to fix in order to work in this industry.
Off the phone, asking somebody to mentor you is how you get to your dreams faster.
And so that was like my big lesson, and I didn't need social media to tell me that. I realized that on my own.
For like 6 months, and then she took pictures of me, and I took them to like 6 agencies, and the first 5 said no, and finally one said yes.
In 2005, Tyra Banks did the unthinkable. At the absolute peak of her modeling career, with global fame, millions in contracts, and a top spot as a Victoria's Secret angel, she walked away. Just like that. No scandal, no controversy. Just a deliberate, quiet exit. But behind that choice was a storm of pressure, fear, and exhaustion. Tyra was tired of the industry telling her she wasn't enough. Her body was too curvy, her hair too thick, her ideas too big. Even as one of the most recognizable supermodels in the world, she faced endless judgment. At 31, she decided she didn't want to shrink herself anymore, physically or emotionally. She turned down a massive Victoria's Secret renewal deal and shifted focus to television. It wasn't just about changing industries, it was about reclaiming power. "I didn't retire from modeling because I didn't love it," she later said. "I left because it stopped loving me back." Her decision stunned fans and insiders alike. But for Tyra, it marked the beginning of a new era, one where she would attempt to control the narrative instead of being shaped by it. What came next was bold, risky, and more exhausting than she could have ever imagined emotionally facing. After stepping away from modeling, Tyra Banks wasted no time reinventing herself. In 2005, she launched The Tyra Banks Show, a daytime talk show that quickly gained traction. With its mix of self-help, fashion, social issues, and dramatic confessions, the show stood out in a crowded field. Tyra positioned herself not just as a host, but as a voice for empowerment, especially for young women navigating self-image and identity. But what looked effortless on screen came with a cost. Behind the scenes, Tyra was juggling more than just interviews. She was also the executive producer and face of America's Next Top Model, which was dominating primetime. Her schedule was relentless. She often filmed Top Model at night, then shot her talk show in the morning. The pressure to maintain perfection in both roles was intense. She tried to smile through it, deliver monologues, and stage emotional moments, but inside, she was running on fumes. By 2009, the cracks were showing. Though ratings held steady, Tyra shocked fans by announcing the show's end after 5 seasons. She cited a desire to explore other opportunities, but later admitted the truth. She was burned out. The hustle had caught up. She needed to pause just to breathe. After conquering TV and modeling, Tyra set her sights on the digital world. In 2011, she launched Type F, a beauty and fashion website aimed at empowering women with personalized content, tutorials, and inclusive style advice. Partnering with Demand Media, the site promised to revolutionize online beauty, at least on paper. But from the start, things fell off. The rollout was clunky. Much of the content was generic, poorly edited, and disconnected from Tyra's brand. Instead of a vibrant hub of self-love and transformation, users were greeted with thin articles, clickbait-style headlines, and a lack of real engagement. Worse, reports surfaced about questionable data collection practices. Users felt misled, and the once-hyped platform quickly lost credibility. Despite Tyra's name being attached, she wasn't visibly present in the content or direction. Many fans questioned whether she had been truly involved, or if it was just another celebrity endorsement gone wrong. The site fizzled out quietly, without fanfare or explanation, leaving many to wonder what went wrong and why it failed so quickly. Type F wasn't just a business failure, it was a reputational hit. It exposed the gap between Tyra's public image as a savvy entrepreneur and the reality of managing large-scale ventures. When America's Next Top Model premiered in 2003, it was a phenomenon. Tyra Banks wasn't just the host, she was the queen of the runway turned ringmaster of reality TV. She taught poses, gave pep talks, and delivered signature one-liners that became instant memes. For years, the show dominated pop culture and made smizing a household term. But by the late 2010s, the show's magic was fading. The format became repetitive, challenges more bizarre, and critiques less constructive. Viewers noticed. So did sponsors. Ratings dropped steadily, with longtime fans pointing out the show's shift from high fashion to gimmick-driven drama. Behind the scenes, friction grew. Former contestants spoke out about mental health struggles, lack of support, and feeling exploited for entertainment. Some felt Tyra's brand of tough love had crossed a line. Clips resurfaced online, judges forcing makeovers, shaming bodies, and belittling aspirations, sparking a cultural reevaluation. After 22 cycles, the CW canceled the show in 2015. Though it briefly returned with new hosts and a rebranded format, the magic never came back. Top Model had lost its crown. For Tyra, the fall was personal. It was the first time the empire she built began to visibly crumble, and the world was watching closely. In 2015, Tyra Banks returned to daytime TV with a new show, FAB Life. Marketed as a panel-style talk show featuring lifestyle experts and real conversations, it was supposed to blend fashion, beauty, and personal stories. With Tyra as the executive producer and co-host, expectations were high. She was joined by model Chrissy Teigen, fashion expert Josie, and others, all bringing unique flair. But the magic never materialized. From the start, the chemistry felt off. Tyra struggled to balance leadership with collaboration, and the show couldn't find its voice. Ratings were lukewarm. Critics called it disjointed, and viewers weren't tuning in like they did for the Tyra Banks show. The content felt flat, the flow inconsistent, and the energy forced. Just 2 months in, Tyra abruptly announced she was stepping down. She said she wanted to focus on her cosmetics business, Tyra Beauty, but many suspected deeper issues behind the scenes. Without her, the show collapsed quickly and was canceled after 1 season. FAB Life became another misstep in Tyra's post-modeling chapter. It showed how hard it was to recapture old glory, even with experience, fame, and a loyal fan base. For Tyra, it was a public stumble that chipped away at her image. In 2014, Tyra Banks rebranded herself again, this time as a beauty mogul. She launched Tyra Beauty, a cosmetics line rooted in self-confidence, fierce branding, and Tyra's signature sass. It wasn't just about lipsticks or highlighters, it was about empowerment. Or at least, that's how it was marketed. Tyra Beauty was rolled out as a direct selling company, meaning everyday people could become beauty-tainers and sell products themselves. But critics quickly noticed the resemblance to MLMs, multi-level marketing schemes where profit often depends more on recruiting than selling. For many sellers, the promised empowerment translated into low earnings, high inventory costs, and unmet expectations. Online forums filled with complaints. Many felt misled. Others said the products were too expensive and the business model too risky. Despite Tyra's Harvard Business School certificate and bold branding, the company faltered. By 2017, the brand quietly shut down. The collapse didn't just sting financially, it damaged Tyra's image. Her fans had trusted her. They believed in her vision of beauty as power. And when it failed, it felt deeply personal and disappointing. Tyra Beauty became a lesson in overreach. Even with a strong brand and loyal audience, success in business requires more than confidence. It demands structure and trust. After years of non-stop hustling, modeling, producing, hosting, and launching businesses, Tyra Banks hit a wall. The pressure to always be on, to maintain her empire and public persona, was exhausting. In 2016, Tyra took a deliberate step back from the spotlight. This wasn't just career burnout, it was a personal pivot. That same year, she welcomed her first child, a son born via surrogacy. Becoming a mother shifted everything. Tyra, who had spent decades focused on ambition and performance, began prioritizing health, family, and emotional balance. Her Instagram posts became less frequent. Public appearances more selective. Interviews were rare and intentional. She didn't vanish, but she became more intentional. Her career pace slowed, not because of failure, but by choice. She still took on projects here and there, like a surprise cameo in Life Size 2, but the hustle was gone. In its place, presence. Tyra also became more vocal about mental health, body positivity, and aging, topics she had touched on before, but now explored with deeper authenticity. Motherhood didn't end Tyra's career. It refined it. For the first time in years, she wasn't performing for the world. She was grounding herself in real life, embracing a version of success that didn't rely on applause or ratings. Even as Tyra Banks stepped back from the spotlight, she wasn't done experimenting. New projects kept coming, but most struggled to take flight. In 2016, she signed on to host NBC's business reality show Funded, aimed at connecting entrepreneurs with venture capitalists. It was hyped as a mashup of Shark Tank and The Apprentice. But despite press coverage, the show never aired. In 2017, she made a splash by replacing Nick Cannon as the host of America's Got Talent. It felt like a power move, but it didn't land. Critics noted that Tyra's energy didn't mesh with the format, and by the end of her first season, she was out, quietly gone from the spotlight. Even a planned scripted series based on her Harvard experience never moved beyond development. These weren't scandals or major misfires, but they chipped away at her reputation for reinvention. Each new gig felt like a reboot, but none stuck. Fans started wondering, had Tyra lost her touch? Was she chasing relevance instead of leading the way? By 2018, the once unshakable Tyra brand felt scattered. She wasn't failing spectacularly, she was fading quietly. And for someone who built a career on visibility and cultural impact, that kind of silence spoke volumes. While Tyra Banks may have stepped away from the camera, she never stopped moving behind the scenes. Away from the spotlight, she turned her attention to long-term business ventures and meaningful projects that didn't require public visibility. She inked a multi-year development deal with Universal Television, aiming to produce scripted and unscripted content. Though few projects reached screens, it marked a shift in her ambition, from being the face of the show to building the show itself. In 2017, Tyra also returned to academia, this time not as a student, but as a teacher. She co-taught a personal branding course at Stanford University's Graduate School of Business, drawing from her experiences in media and entrepreneurship. For students, it was a masterclass in reinvention. She also invested in media and tech startups, keeping one foot in innovation. Though details were sparse, insiders say she remained active in pitch meetings and strategy. Meanwhile, she published her memoir Perfect is Boring, co-written with her mother. It offered personal insights into her journey, pressures, and self-discovery. Tyra didn't disappear, she evolved. Behind the glitz and setbacks, she was still building. And for someone who always preached resilience, her quiet grind proved she was still walking the talk. Despite all the career reinventions, Tyra Banks' personal life has often remained out of the tabloids, but that doesn't mean it's been without heartbreak. Over the years, she's spoken in vague but emotional terms about abusive relationships, betrayals, and personal battles that shaped her beyond the cameras. She dated high-profile figures, including basketball player Chris Webber and photographer Eric Asla, the father of her son. But none of her relationships ended in marriage. Tyra has been candid about the emotional toll of those endings, especially in a world where image and perception can feel more important than reality. In 2025, tragedy struck. While Tyra was overseas for a private business retreat, a fire broke out in her Los Angeles home. The blaze destroyed nearly everything: memories, photos, personal keepsakes, everything but the people. Thankfully, no one was harmed, but the emotional weight of losing her sanctuary was profound. For someone who had already shed layers of her public life, this felt like the universe forcing another reset.